when we discuss this a little bit and we start to consider things that are important to me, is like, how come when I manifest things, it doesn't manifest what I want?
Mm-hmm.
How come I seem to have a problem manifesting this XYZ?
Mm-hmm.
And then the reason for the communication network of reality starts to become important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And when it becomes important, then it gets through that filter of let's keep reality the same.
Mm-hmm.
And it becomes through the filter. Now, this is a concept I can work with to recreate my reality network.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to the Driving to the Rez podcast. This is Inelia.
And this is Larry. Just a quick note. If you're hearing this, you're on our free feed, which means you'll only get the first part of this conversation.
To access the rest, go drivingtotherez.com and subscribe to the Wisdom Keeper Hour.
Join us and our expert panelists for detailed insights and the after party where you're invited to join in the conversation. Head over to drivingtotherez.com and become a subscriber.
Your subscription keeps this podcast ad-free and helps us keep the lights on and maybe even get a decent cup of coffee. More importantly, it connects you with a community of passionate wisdom keepers like yourself. So if you're ready to go deeper, join us at drivingtotherez.com and support the journey.
Morning, honey.
Morning. Honey, why I changed my vocabulary? You know.
I guess to mystify men.
To mystify men.
Right. Because as soon as we figure you out, now what are you talking about? It's a common enough thing.
Is this? Oh,
Yes.
People change their vocabulary all the time?
Oh, no.
To mystify men.
Mystify men, yeah.
Of course.
That's just your tactic. No, really, what is your reason?
Well, if you have been reading my work for a while, which you have,
Decades.
you may have noticed something. Every so often, my language changes.
Yes, and it's like I almost have to go back to college to understand the next level of what you're just saying. Like the last letter I read that you'd written,
Mm-hmm.
I was reading through it and I was like, I actually have to pay attention now. Let's just skim this one. Changed my attention level. It also mystified me for a moment.
Oh, okay.
And then I had to reread it, and get into, it felt like jump a different level of awareness in order to comprehend what the hell you were talking about.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I was trying to do was to actually make it simpler, lower the language reading level.
Well, I'm not going to say, I don't think it worked. I don't think it did that. It did have an effect, but I don't think it was a lower level of comprehension. It required more focus and attention and actually a larger vocabulary. That's what it felt like.
Okay.
Maybe you were writing it pre-kindergarten level or something. Now it's a little first grader. I don't know. It doesn't seem
Well, one of the things that I think hit the mark is that by changing the vocabulary, I'm trying to open new pathways for people to be able to understand what I've been teaching for forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you have succeeded in that.
Well, that's good then.
Because it did require a new pathway. And I think maybe people that might have been comfortable in skimming have to decide I'm actually going to read this or am I not? Mm-hmm. It's like you're at a little bit of a choice point, it feels like when you read that. It's like, I can dismiss it now and move on to other things, or I can actually put my nose to the grindstone and
understand what it says.
Really do it.
Okay.
Really read it.
A familiar phrase disappears, a new one appears. Sometimes I introduce an entirely different way of describing an idea that I have been teaching for years. This isn't new. If you've been studying my work for any length of time, you have probably noticed these shifts in vocabulary. I regularly test different lexicon And because of that, I often begin my classes defining exactly what I mean when I use a particular word. Sometimes I will use the same word in a completely different context.
And I have noticed over time, more and more people are doing that.
Yeah.
Have become aware that the language they're using is misunderstood, or rather,
They need to define
the reader thinks a whole other thing than what they're actually saying.
Yeah, this is more common, I think, because there's so many ways of using language, you know.
Yeah. In the past, though, we were mono, like we had 3 channels to watch on TV, and the message was sent through those 3 channels on every channel, and
using the same language,
walked in using the same language. And so when they said a word, it's well programmed. You all know what it means.
Right.
Now we have so many channels open. Every word, it seems like, has 100 different interpretations. It could be you're saying that for a political reason. Oh, you're saying that for a scientific reason. Oh, you're saying that for a whatever reason. Oh, you're using the colloquial. Oh, you're using the slang. Oh, you're using the. There's just so many different channels available for interpreting what it is and what word you're saying. The crust, like we talked about last week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. What I am doing with a different language is not altering reality itself, nor the observations I have made about it. Those have remained consistent over a lifetime of research into the human role in the co-construction of reality.
See, that's an example. The language was your choice in words and structure of words was a little more college level, I guess.
Okay. So basically, we are continuously, every second, we are co-constructing reality. Because it's not a lonely thing. No one person doesn't construct all of reality. It is a shared experience because we're a collective species. Both the soul and the bodies are collective species. And we are co-creating realities through agreements and compatibility.
Right.
So
those understood, and I agree, and you have said this in the past. It's just the way that you said it in the past was more like a reading a fiction book. You know, choice of words sets a scene and mood and attempt, and then you read a nonfiction like a scientific journal, and you got to wade through it because each word is chosen specifically for a reason to blah blah and with purpose. And it felt like the language you're using is more like a scientific book than a fictional novel.
Funny you should mention
higher vocabulary.
Novels because everything that I teach about the co-construction of reality, which is other people call manifest stuff.
Yes.
I am introducing into the Team Whisper series.
Ooh.
I have introduced some of these concepts and also like what reality is really like, planets are like, and whatever's in the Return series. And if you're not familiar with my books, you can go to ineliabooks.com and find them there. We're working on that website right now. It's under construction, but you can still buy stuff.
Yeah. And if you don't go there, Amazon.
Amazon has them too. And also, but in my website, you can actually subscribe to the newsletter there and get updates of when the new books are coming or, the progress of my work.
Yeah, you don't get that at Amazon.
No, you don't get that at Amazon. Although I think I could do that at Amazon. I might try it.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to see. But going back to the co-construction of reality, what I'm doing is to test a new lexicon. Do you know what lexicon means?
Well, I can infer based on your usage. It means the language you're using to describe a thing, I suppose.
Lexicon is more like a group of words, but yeah, it's like a particular group of words.
Okay.
Right. Let's build a lexicon. So that's what I'm changing, the group of words that I'm using.
Yeah, like co-manifested and you used a bunch of words there.
Co-creation, co-manifestation.
Right. So many people find they're like, why aren't my manifestations coming? And they believe that they're the singular manifester, and all of their wishes and desires that they have at a surface level are the ones that they're manifesting. When reality is showing them that's not what's happening.
Right.
And so they get frustrated or they become educated, frustrated, or educated. Your choice.
Yes, your choice. Yes. 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 So, what I'm doing is test a new lexicon to see if I can breach the gap between reality and intellect.
Mm.
So, breaching the gap between what's
Actually
happening,
happening and you see it around you, right?
yeah, and your mind, what your
Your
thoughts are
ability to
about.
reason what it is that you're
Yes,
seeing
exactly.
and
Yeah.
see it for what it is,
Yes.
rather than see it for what you wish it is or wish it weren't. Yeah.
Words are not reality, although they can shape it. They are tools we use to comprehend reality's complexity. And I remember you told me a story, and I wonder if you could tell it again. Like the words are not reality, although they can shape it. Remember you told me a story about a people that somewhere didn't know the word blue, so they didn't know what, like when people looked at the sky, they didn't see it as blue. They saw it as a different color. Do you remember that story?
No, I don't remember that story. The stories that I remember about lexicons and language were the Eskimos' million words for snow.
Oh, for example, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it's like it's snowing, but it's like, what snow is it snowing?
Yeah, yeah. And that,
Without a vocabulary, it's all white fluff. But with some vocabulary, it's heavy, dense, snowball kind. It's light, fluffy, champagne kind.
Sleet.
It's sleet kind. It's this will stack up and make landslide kind. I don't know. There's a billion ways to
Different.
describe the snow, but we will go with it's snowing.
Yes,
Look, there's snow outside.
yes, yeah. And that would shape their entire day, I'm sure, right?
Oh, yeah, because when you say it's this type of snow, that means a whole different set of preparations for what you're going to do and expect and encounter. If you say that kind of snow, it's a whole other thing. If you go out for the champagne snow, dressed for the champagne snow in the rain, slush snow, oh boy,
Yeah.
you're not going to make it. You're going to die.
Yeah.
Because your down is going to get saturated with water and it's going to not work anymore and you're going to get cold and die. So you better know what snow it is.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Some words work better than others at describing things.
Like walnut.
Yeah. What's walnut?
Doesn't seem to describe what the thing is.
It's really hard to break
It's
into, though.
from a walnut.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my wall.
And
How is it not related? How is it going to be a wall? That's not going to work good. That's not a very good word, huh?
no, that's true. And I think other people might call it like rock.
Rock.
Yeah. All right.
Anyways.
Yeah. Over the years, I have discovered that changing a single word can dramatically change how people understand, discuss, and apply an idea, method, tool, or theory. A different lexicon can illuminate aspects of the same concepts that were always there, but were difficult to describe with the previous vocabulary. So if you're trying to tell the person, yeah, you need to wear boots because the snow that's falling right now, or this type of boots because the snow that's falling right now is this, and that. If you don't have the words to describe it properly, you're going to have to spend a long time trying to describe it.
Yes, and I think that was one of the arguments about the English language and other languages and other cultures, that the languages that describes reality are more romantic, or they're more illustrative, or they're more or less technical or whatever, and the population that is the consequence of that language is tellingly different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have an example of that, because even when we speak about languages in different languages like French and German and English and Spanish, one of the interesting aspects of my work is that it's very popular with German speakers. And it's when I learned, I used to speak German as a tiny little toddler. I don't remember that. But I learned it again when I was 13, 14. I learned German. And I found that language to be absolutely fascinating because they link words to make an idea. So there's less separation of the concept than in other languages.
It's funny you should mention that, because this fishing trip, I got a little oversaturated with one of my deckhands' music choices. And so one of my other deckhands was stationed in Germany for a year or two in Army intelligence, I believe. And he learned German. And so we played some German music, but it was Rammstein, which is
What's Rammstein?
German
Rap?
heavy metal rock. And it's like, he only has like 5 words. Ich, ich, or whatever, you know, it's like only 5 words in the whole song. And so my deckhand was translating the German to the English, and it scared my other deckhand off. He's like, that scary music, I gotta go away. That was hilarious. Oh my goodness. Well, that's the kind of games we play on a boat.
Yes, yes.
Music wars.
Yes, yes. Okay.
But it's funny that it would be German.
Yeah. Yes, it's very funny. Like one of those coincidences that are coincidences.
A coincidence was not a coincidence.
Yeah, yeah. So, take the word.
So the experience of a culture that's different and the language they use, that's manifesting a different reality, completely different reality experience, right? And it's easy enough to see when you look at it that way. But if you don't really look at it that way, you may think, well, maybe it's the food, right? Or maybe it's the environment, right? So one of the examples we can use are the Native American languages and the reality that was experienced in North America. And the Spanish speaking languages come from Spain, I think. I mean, they didn't speak Spanish in Mexico before the Spanish. No. They had native languages. When I say native, they had their own native language. It wasn't Spanish.
Plus, when we say Spanish, we're talking about Castilian, not other languages within Spain.
Right. And in Spain, there's a certain way that it looks, you know, Spanish construction, and England is another kind of a thing. It's interesting to think when the languages arrived, how that changed the reality.
Yes.
Because it was a dramatic change in reality.
Real dramatic.
With the introduction of the language.
Yes. Real dramatic.
Here, for instance, I have long wondered why the experience of reality here, this tribe, our Makot tribe, has been in the same location for
over 10,000 years or more.
So many thousand years, it's absurd. More 1,000 years than basically any. I mean, in that period of time, you would expect to see a certain level of sophistication. But maybe the language didn't have that sophistication, or that language had a limiting factor to it, because it seemed to limit the level of technologies. I mean, we're not even into double-story buildings.
Right. Just one story.
And shared housing, and, you know, the language I bet you a linguist would be able to describe or explain it better, but I bet the language didn't have a description for a reality of more than one floor, or the construction methods, or the ability to describe these things, because all of the construction was incredibly simple, effective, but very, very simple.
Very simple and transient.
Yes.
Yeah, didn't last their time.
So I had a hard time figuring out how it could be that. Nothing had happened past a certain thing, and then this language thing is starting to maybe be a key to one of those puzzles.
Yep. Yeah, because I remember when I was in school in England, they were saying, oh, you know, England and the northern countries of Europe, they're highly civilized because the cold and the wet forced people to develop technologies to stay warm and safe and all that stuff. And, you know, people in Africa are still running around in grass skirts. And this is how it was spoken about when I was in school, because they were warm and cozy and they didn't have to develop technology.
Yeah.
But it's the same environment as here, cold and wet, and
we're not England.
It's not England. It's not.
But it did become a little bit more like England when English was the language that got spoken. Now we do have more than one-story houses, and they are, you know, houses.
Right. Anyways,
it's interesting to think about how that relates to co-manifesting realities.
Yes.
language and linguistics.
Yeah. And a lot of stuff gets lost in translation also. So recently I began testing a different word. Instead of, take the word manifestation. Okay.
Yes, manifestation. We know what manifestation means nowadays, anyways. Yes. You think about a thing and blah. But then you're getting more advanced and you think about a thing and you write a thing and you make a thing and then blah. Yeah. And then you get a little bit more.
And people get frustrated because they do all those things and the blah never happens.
The blah doesn't seem to happen, or if it does, it's not repeatable. And if it is repeatable, it's not repeatable for the things that matter, only the things that don't matter. Like I can get a parking spot anywhere, anytime, but I can't get a house or a wife or a whatever.
It is a perfectly useful word, but at a societal level and over time, it has gathered many meanings. Depending on who you ask, it can mean attracting what you want, visualizing an outcome, positive thinking, creating reality, intention, magic, or any number of other things.
That's true.
Recently, I began testing a different word. You want to know what it is?
Sure.
Compatibility. The mechanics themselves have not changed. The model has not changed. What changes is the question people ask when they want a different experience of life. Instead of, how do I manifest what I want? The question becomes, what reality am I presently compatible with, and how can I change it?
I think that's a extremely valuable rework of that word, because it is much more suggestive of what you can do than the other word.
Yeah, that's what I'm aiming for. Right? Yeah, exactly. That single shift points much more directly towards the process I have been describing for years. The same thing is happening with other parts of my work. Rather than speaking about how events and people influence one another, I am testing language that describes reality as an ongoing discourse composed of threads of connectivity, what I call the communication network of reality. Again, the observation is not new. Only the vocabulary is. Do you know what threads of connectivity and communication network of reality, what I might mean by those things?
Strangely enough, I was listening to a podcast and it described reality as not a smear of reality, but a thread of realities instead.
And
threads of reality versus a consistent, like
solid objects.
Yeah, consistent, whatever. So like in the ocean, for instance, they will say that they test the thingies here and it's like the ocean level is this, or the ocean is all of this, and it said the ocean is like a thing and it's giant one thing, and then when you get there you find this on the part of the ocean and this little tiny sliver of the ocean and that sliver of the ocean are so dramatically different. There's a thread of ocean here that all the life is in, and there's a thread of ocean over here. There's, basically nothing. It's a desert. Don't go there.
Okay.
Go here, right?
Yeah.
But when you first get out to ocean, it's like, well, what differentiates this top of the ocean from that top of the ocean from that top of the ocean? And why is there all this stuff here and there's no stuff here? Why is it clear here and it's brown here and it's green over here? And we're all talking within 10 miles of itself. These threads are obvious and apparent when you get there on the ocean, but they're not obvious and apparent when you look at it from the beach. Look, it's just 20 miles of pure blue.
Right, yeah. Right. And I think there might be a physics, a quantum physics section that talks about threads also. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that.
Yes.
But anyways, the observation is not new. And one of the things that's really funny, I've been saying the words communication network of reality and been seeding it in different locations. And most people don't remember to repeat it back.
Communication network of reality.
Yeah.
Well, I can read it, so I will.
Yes, you read it. But it's so funny.
My tip is write this down and
then
read
in
it.
your
You'll
pocket, you can
remember. You'll be able to remember. Communication network of reality.
Mm-hmm.
When you first hear that word, it just goes poof, and you go like,
It's very strange
"This is
that happens.
an unordinary stringing together of words that I haven't experienced together."
Right. It's a new lexicon.
And this first passed through my reality filter.
Mm-hmm.
Just says, do not comprehend, do not compute, blah, blah.
Do not remember.
Don't remember. Doesn't mean anything. It's not a basketball and a monkey.
Yeah.
And then when we discuss this a little bit and we start to consider things that are important to me, is like, how come when I manifest things, it doesn't manifest what I want?
Mm-hmm.
How come I seem to have a problem manifesting this XYZ?
Mm-hmm.
And then the reason for the communication network of reality starts to become important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And when it becomes important, then it gets through that filter of let's keep reality the same.
Mm-hmm.
And it becomes through the filter. Now, this is a concept I can work with to recreate my reality network.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it means something now.
Yes.
That's the shift.
Yes.
So good job with your lexicon change, honey.
Yeah, you're welcome. One of the things I'm going to say,
yes,
for anybody who is really fascinated by this, right? Well, we're going to talk about it more in our second hour.
Yes, of course we are.
With Wisdom Keepers. So go driving to the Rez.com and get in there if you're interested.
I really want to know how they respond to this lexicon.
Yes. And also, one of the things that I'm going to evolve and develop a way to understand how I see this is the connection between threads and communication. So, because it's connection of connectivity, right? Threads of connectivity. And one of the things that I'd like to share, I suppose, was why I changed the lexicon.
Mm-hmm.
I have found that individuals who participate in our dojo, which is at walkwithmenow.com, and others have increasingly been more interested not so much in learning what I have to teach, but replicate what I can do, right? Which is the right path. The correct path is to be able not just to replicate what the teacher teaches, but to actually surpass it. Yeah.
Mm.
So when I was asked, when I'm asked what I mean by, oh, I got guidance to do this and I got a request to do that, and I do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we don't do it, it's kind of like things don't go well.
Things don't go well.
Because, yeah. Anyways, and people ask me, guidance from whom, from where, and how can I connect into that guidance? And I have been saying, well, the closest I can get to is to say maybe Gaia and the high frequency human collective. That's the closest I can get to.
Seems reasonable.
Seems reasonable. Oh.
You said good morning to Claude, I guess.
My goodness. All right. Seems reasonable enough. But then I realized recently that it wasn't enough because it was creating a situation where people were, banging against an invisible wall and couldn't get through. So I started looking at, well, how can I express that level of connection to that guidance and other information? What am I actually seeing? So I sat with it for a few months. And then it's like, one lexicon that can really describe it so that person can become compatible with what they want or hear the guidance from that universal, we can call universal database or wisdom or divine consciousness, whatever you want to call it, right? Is to speak of it like the communication network of reality. Because it's basically the closest I can get to right now with lexicon that I thought of. So in the future, it might change to make it even more descriptive and more accessible. So far, this is what we got. Okay.
We'll take it.
Yeah. Again, the observation is not new. Only the vocabulary is. Whether these particular words remain for years or eventually give way to better ones is almost beside the point. And I'm hoping it will give way to even better ones, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But it's a progress that it's not just me dependent, it's also dependent on what question I'm asked and things like that. Often I have information that I carry with me for months or years for somebody to ask. And when that person or persons ask, or I see the questions coming in through media or the internet, then I go, great, we're ready for this now. And I am able to explain it and it'll be retained at a certain level. Anyways, the new lexicon's purpose is not permanence. The new words, the purpose is effectiveness. Every time I try a new lexicon, I ask, does this points more accurately towards what I have perceived reality to be? Does it help people understand the model more clearly? Does it make the ideas easier to discuss, test, and apply? If the answer is yes to any of those, the word stays. If the answer is no, I keep looking and testing new ones.
And how do you test them? Test them with
people.
Our audience?
Yes, I test them with people. So, if you notice my vocabulary changing from time to time, it doesn't mean I have abandoned the previous model or adopted a new one. More often than not, I am simply testing whether a different set of words makes the same landscape easier to navigate. Language is one of the most powerful tools we have for exploring reality, as well as creating it. So, I'd like your help. Are you ready? Yeah?
Yes. Sure.
Okay. Over the coming weeks, I'll be testing this new lexicon with my articles, classes, and on my podcast, Driving to the Rez. We'll see together whether these words simply sound different or whether they make the underlying model easier to understand, discuss, and apply. The next stop is going to be threads of connectivity. Can you guess what they're made of?
I think networks, reality.
Now you're making stuff up. Well, that's the question I'm going to be asking the panelists on the Wisdom Keeper section of Driving to the Rez. So go there, and on Fridays at 9 a.m. you can discuss it too. Bring your ideas. What does it mean?
I'm liking reality network. I can look at my world in the form of reality networks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So hopefully that's what you'll be, talking about.
Yes. Okay. Hopefully that's what we'll be talking about, because we'll be talking about, because Larry's going to copy.
And threads of connectivity. I think the threads of connectivity function within the network. Reality networks.
Mm-hmm. And
got it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not going to try and figure out what they're made of?
Let me see. Well, I think they're made out of relationships. These threads.
Mm-hmm.
Threads of connectivity. Well, at a very basic level. But they're probably energy cords also.
Mm-hmm.
As probably a component of them. And there's probably the it's like when you touch on that threads of connectivity, the layers of connection are vast, multidimensional, and multi-timinal, and multi-everythingal. Mm. Those threads are everything.
Yes. Your cat's
He's happy. I have a happy cat in my lap.
Yes.
Everything in the world in his network of reality, or network, where is it? His reality network.
His communication network of reality.
I just shortened it to reality network.
Okay.
Easier to remember. His reality network is premium. He has a little dog, a mommy, a daddy, and a lap. Couch. Everything's perfect in this network reality.
Yeah.
Reality network. This is just how I understand it.
Okay, excellent. I love it. All right, see you on the second part.
All right. I'm curious to hear what they have to say.
Join us for the rest of this conversation at drivingtotherez.com.
And when you go to drivingtotherez.com and you join in the rest of the show, rest of the second hour, you also get to join in the after party. 9:00 on Fridays, we all get together, including you.
When you said manifestation, what do people think? It's just like, oh, I want something. And it's like, I'm going from 0 to square, making this appear in my hands kind of thing. Yeah. And it gives you nothing to, it doesn't help you along. Right. And so this is probably where you've come from with all of this. And then you say, what reality am I compatible with? You're like, ew, okay, so that's different.